now joined by expert in counter-terrorism, Dr. Rob Walker. Dr. Walker, many thanks for joining us this evening. We heard some of the facts and figures there from Issa, but ending automatic early release then can only be a good thing, can't it?
No, I don't think. This is just classic populist knee-jerk reaction from this government. They've not even implemented the existing counter-terrorism legislation, such as in the counter-terrorism border security bill from last year, which in that legislation, it proposes that sentences should be increased anyway. Yet that's not been implemented yet. We've also got, I just heard in your clip from Parliament there, talking about the fact that there are no checks and reviews happening before the release of these prisoners. The reason that there are no checks and reviews happening is because of austerity, and austerity has cut the probation services to the bone, something that's been confirmed by the previous head of the probation service. Now, I don't know the specifics of the current case that we're discussing, but Usman Khan, who murdered Saskia Jones and Jack Merritt before Christmas, should have, as part of his sentencing regime, should have had a parole board hearing before he was released. And that didn't happen. And that didn't happen because of austerity. So it's very well for the government to keep posturing and telling us that they're going to introduce all this emergency legislation. We need to look at what they're actually doing and what they've done. And they've completely neglected the criminal justice system, which is why these things are happening.
Let's also look on the other end of the scale as well in terms of rehabilitation and de-radicalisation programmes. I mean, these sound good too, but is there any proof that they actually work?
No, there's no proof that they work. There's absolutely none. I mean, there's not really any point discussing it. And any argument for those kind of programs is based on some kind of pseudoscience. And there's no proof they work. I think we need to look at as well what the government are proposing with increasing sentencing regimes and introducing indeterminate sentences has been floated around at the moment. When the Youth Empowerment and Innovation Project carried out research recently that came out last week that was part funded by the Home Office, and they suggested that increasing sentences is counterproductive. As we just heard, there was a mother talking about how this person might have been driven to this crime while in prison. And the Youth Empowerment and Innovation Project research described the Home Secretary's proposals to increase sentences as madness. They actually said that it's madness to do so. All evidence on sentencing suggests that if you increase sentences, you're going to make the situation worse. And I'd also like to just refer to the Director of Public Prosecutions, Ken MacDonald, has pointed out that not all terrorists get long sentences. If we look at people like Sally Letts, who was convicted for sending money to her son. So depending on how serious the crime is, we're always going to have terrorists being released. I mean, it's ridiculous to propose that we're just going to lock everyone up and throw away the key.
The thing is, though, Dr. Walker, there's also the other side as well, is that you have to also look at the victims. I mean, longer sentences might not necessarily prevent or de-radicalise terrorists, but they do keep the public safer, don't they?
No, they clearly don't, because as I've just stated, you can't just lock everyone up and throw away the key. So we need to look at, as the former Director of Public Prosecution said, we need to look at the conditions inside prisons to reassure ourselves that people are being reformed before they're released. And I'd also just want to point out that we need to consider most of these convicted terrorists that we look at are in their 20s. The number of youth clubs in London has halved since 2011 as a result of successive Conservative governments' austerity programmes. And I just want to personalise this a little bit. Previously, I was working as a teacher in East London, and about 5 years ago, when the children that I taught found out that some of their local youth clubs were going to be shut down, they were terrified because they knew that street crime was going to increase. We know that youth clubs, that providing social security networks and providing support for people works to reduce crime. This government isn't interested in reducing crime. They're interested in looking tough on crime. They're not interested in reducing it.
Okay, I'm going to have to